Alright, Crunchyroll is back with another Crunchyroll original animated by a Japanese studio and based on a South Korean manhwa published by Webtoons. Coming hot on the heels of Tower of God, which, I'll be honest, I didn't watch, don't care to watch, and probably never will watch, this new entry to Crunchyroll's repertoire is done by MAPPA, who have made some anime that you may have heard of before. But the question is, did these three cultural titans come together to create something new and fresh, or will we end up with a second controversial Crunchyroll-funded manhwa adaptation with God in the title? Well, if you look at the upload date, this is the week the first episode aired, and I wrote this the day of the episode's release, so fuck if I know. What I do know is my first impressions, however, and they're good, but we'll get there. Firstly, according to the episode's description, God of Highschool is an all-styles martial arts tournament for high schoolers from all over Korea. Jin Mori, who lives on his own after parting ways with his grandfather, Taijin, at a young age, is on his way to the preliminary for his region when he ends up chasing a snatcher. In the midst of his pursuit, he meets Han Daiwi and Yumira, two other high schoolers on their way to participate in the preliminary. The only thing on the line is your pride, the only thing you can trust is your fists. Choose any wish and it will be granted. Such is the power of God. So begins the Battle Royale featuring the most powerful contenders from all over. Now I'll admit the first episode is very, light on the story, barring the bizarre opening scene and a few breadcrumbs here and there, but you know what? That's just fine. The episode was clearly more about showing off the characters and the stellar animation. The fights are a gorgeous mix of stylized exaggeration and slick movement. However, seemingly just as important and just as well done is the visual comedy. More than half the episode is dedicated to one long bike chase with fantastic comedic timing and great gags. As for the main fight, well, it's a double-edged sword. On one hand, yes, it is stunning. The premise is dope, Battle Royale fights are always rad, and I love the different fighting styles on display. Personally, I'm all about pro wrestling girl here. But on the other hand, if you're paying enough attention, it's pretty easy to recognize that the whole fight is used twice, and it's in very recognizable places too. The filler action from the start of the fight is a remixed and reflected version of the Ink Trail fight from just a couple minutes before, and the showcase of all our main characters is used outright in the opening of the show. Does that make it any less stunning to see in action? Not really, but once you notice it, it's really hard to unsee. Well, that's pretty much the main stuff, so let's do some nitpicking, shall we? I will say I can't help but feel a little dissonance in the fact that the show takes place in Seoul, all the characters are Korean, the original was Korean, but the characters are all speaking Japanese. The main premise of the tournament is dumb as hell, but I love this kind of dumb shit, so I'm fine with it. The music slaps too. Now, I'm not one to really judge room decor when my dorm room walls were more barren than a prison cell's, but I am gonna declare that it's weird to have literally nothing in your room except for one unreasonably sized picture of you, sad with your dead grandpa, hanging across from you so it's the first thing you see when you wake up every morning. Also, the fact that they have Crunchyroll and Webtoons sponsoring the tournament is absolutely hilarious. Okay, with all of that said, what's my final verdict? It's good. I have some pretty high hopes for this series. It's a fun ride from start to finish, and despite the disappointing reuse of pretty much all of the fighting, I'm pretty sure that's not really going to be possible in future episodes unless they just reuse the exact same group fight every time. If you haven't watched it yet, I'm obviously going to recommend you do so. If you have, and you did enjoy it, just know I'm right there with you and am eagerly awaiting episode 2. If you want to see me talk about the show more in the future, or do more of these first impression videos, let me know down below. Thank you for watching.